The kinds of books that adults read have so many complicated ideas in them. I can't wrap. Master says that there are many things I'll understand once I'm. So, does that mean when you grow up, you understand the same things in a.
I just had a brief look around. I quite liked that hat on the coat rack. I would have quite liked to try it on if this was a marketplace. But since it probably counts as lost property, I'll have to be content.
That rabble we fought sure picked the wrong crew to mess with. I'd say they won't make that mistake again. But we already made sure. With my skills and experience on your team, they don't stand a chance, no matter what they throw at us. I don't have eyes in the back of my head, though, so just make sure you got my back.
Rest well now, start well later. Am I right? In my experience, a good night's sleep does a win. I've weighed up the surrounding area, our timing, and everyone's condition. My conclusion? It's time for a nap and some snacks. That's my suggestion as a guide for the people of the Springs. For your consideration.
You look tired. If you're feeling peckish, I've brought some fried radish balls. I made them before we came here. Try to take life at a slower...
At the core of any myth is a true story. But once a story comes to bear the hopes and dreams of an entire people, fantastical fictions inevitably become mixed in with the truth. But in my view, the truth of our myths is not important. Still, I will stride the golden sands, my heart yearning for the light of, whether with or without the blessing of the gods. I will always be the guardian who protects my people.
So many books. Let's see here. This story is about a mercenary whose only skill is that he's an exceptional liar. He goes and gets himself hired by 3 different employers, all of which are mutual enemies. And so, he's forced to spin ever more ludicrous lies to keep himself alive and keep the morrow rolling in. You know what? I'll read on. This looks pretty fun.
The challenges this domain poses are way different from the pilgrimage of the return of the sacred flame. But we're winning this. After all, no matter what we face, no one fights alone. That'll never change. Pre-departure rituals are important. Put your hand on mine and say it with me. Fight, fight, fight! Victory is in sight!
Are you injured at all? Rest here. Let me give you a full examination. Just a scratch? Oh, you shouldn't say that. No matter how minor your injury, I won't take up too much of your time. I promise.
I didn't realize quite how strong the enemies that you have to fight are. If you've invited me here, it must be because you're confident that my skills will come in handy. So, no need to be coy, all right? I'm here to help however you need.
I had a phase once where I did exactly what you're doing now. Constantly exploring dangerous domain, but what drove me to do it wasn't any of the rules from the Knights of Favonius handbook. It was my personal conviction helps you rise above your wounds and fatigue, and guides you forward.
I know you are a formidable warrior, but we must not underestimate the monsters in this domain. They seem... Nor should you be afraid. I am here to answer your call, and I will... With this blade, I shall slay any foe that comes our way.
Are you tired? I know a trick that works great. Imagine with all that tender, delicious-smelling food nearby. Doesn't it just give you a... Huh? Hard to imagine.
I've always felt that a library full of books is just like a shelf full of perfumes. It's worth taking the time to study and appreciate each one until you find the one that's perfect for that experience of holding on to hope as you search for the one. It's a beautiful thing.
I don't like it when people around me get hurt. It's so upsetting to see them in pain. But sometimes in life, fighting is inevitable. All I can do is pray and support everyone from behind by and I have to do it with a smile. If only to keep people's spirits up.
I think I'll read a little before the next battle. Please refrain from recommending something like a newspaper. I recognize that short-form articles may be a fitting choice, but they're simply not to my taste.
Thanks for inviting me here. If there's nothing too urgent that needs your attention, why not take a seat and relax for a bit? I'll make you some tea. Oh, don't mention it. It's nothing, really. I'd hate to see anyone who needs my care tiring themselves out too much.
Well, you invited me to meet you here, so I'm guessing that means you're ready for a I'm just kidding, of course. This place is for resting. I wouldn't start a fight here. I am getting a little restless here, though. Hope the next battle's a big one.
I rarely encounter opportunities to rest mid-journey during battle. However, given that this is not a solo operation, I will go along. In any case, this is an
I don't believe anyone enjoys taking up arms and going to war whenever the sound of clashing blades fades into the distance. Too quiet for you? Then I'll play a tune on the leaf, so you can be surrounded.
A lounge. Very good. You think it's too quiet here? I find it quite to my satisfaction. My only quibble is the sheer volume of books here. One can only imagine how long it would take to read them all.
I'm really curious to know what's at the end of this maze, too. And yes, I know that as we go further in, we're bound to meet tougher and tougher monsters, and maybe even... But after the winds and rain have passed, the saplings in the forest grow a little bigger and a little stronger. We'll only get to see the blue sky above the treetops if we keep pressing on, right?
This is woeful. I am Fontaine's biggest star. Where is the pomp? Well, never mind. I suppose I could do with a short break. One has to replenish one's blood sugar to deliver an ideal performance, after all.
It's not often that I have the chance to take a rest before the battle is true. I keep asking myself, can I really afford to take a rest yet? And if there are still monsters that have not yet been vanquished, you'd like to join me in a moment of meditation. Oh, all right. Close your eyes. Now.
I have heard that Mondstadt's deity makes few demands of his people. Whether they prosper or not, their fortunes are of their own making. But is this a blessing or a poisoned chalice? In the quieter moments, I often find myself wondering what the merits of this approach to guardianship are. Sorry, it is hardly my place to criticize. I simply desire to protect everyone I can.
The books here aren't too complicated. Even I'm having an easy time reading them. When I get back, I need to thank Master Tainari for his literacy classes. I'm more determined than ever now to stick with it, so that one day, I'll be able to read even more complicated books. I imagine you'll want to keep fighting soon. Do you want a bite to eat first? You know you love my cooking. You should never work on an empty stomach. More importantly, a proper meal will put you in a good mood, and you'll handle yourself better in a crisis. Here, some chopsticks for ya. Don't be shy now. Dig in.
If it's okay with you, I think we should check all the pillars in this room. If I spend too long in one place, sooner or later, accidents happen. It's not me I'm worried about, but if I'm gonna keep on adventuring with you, we gotta make sure everybody...
I'm pretty nervous, to be honest. The battles here are tough, and I don't want to let the team down. Still, I can't just mope around wishing I was as brave as everyone else. That helps? No, I won't run away. Not me. That's right. Trainee Forest Ranger Kale is ready for battle.
I have crossed paths with many a wicked foe in my time. When they come for you with knives in their hands and malice in their hearts, you cannot cower in fear, for this only emboldens them further. It is a hero's duty to seize victory with their sword, even in the most perilous of battle. Although, things are different this time, because I'm not fighting alone. So let's
You sure don't need to worry about me getting bored here. I'm spoiled for choice with all these books. I hardly know where to start. I want to memorize all the interesting parts so I can go back and tell them to my friends. Oh, right. That's another thing I meant to ask. Which of these books do you recommend? I want to know what kind of stories you're into.
Thanks for inviting me here. If there's nothing too urgent that needs your attention, why not take a seat and relax for a bit? I'll make you some tea. Oh, don't mention it. It's nothing, really. I'd hate to see anyone who needs my care tiring them.
If it's okay with you, if I spend too long, it's not me I'm...
There are many reasons why a samurai might draw their blade. Though we walk a perilous path where powerful foes face us at every turn, and my mind is at ease.
I have heard that Mondstadt's deity makes few demands of his people. Whether they prosper or not, but Is this a blessing? Or... Ah, sorry. It is...
There are real people and real events out there that are more incredible than anything you'll find in fiction. Shame no one will ever be allowed to write a book about it. Curious? What if I told you that the things I'm referring to, no one will ever be allowed to talk? Okay, we can chat about something that isn't top secret information if you want, but we'll still have to go somewhere a little more...
You sure don't need to worry about me getting bored here. I'm spoiled for choice with all these books. I want to memorize all the interesting parts so I can go back and tell them to my friends. Oh, right. That's another thing I meant to ask. Which of these books do you recommend? I want to know what kind of stories you're into.
This is woeful. I am but well, never mind. One has to replenish one's blood sugar.
I'm really curious to know what's at the end of this maze. And yes, I know that as we go further in, we're bound to meet tougher and tougher monsters. But after the winds and rain have passed, the saplings in the forest...
This is not the first battle, nor will it be the last. The battle must go on until the moment you have reached your goal. This is a test of endurance, quality I find most admirable in those who possess it. Working a job requires endurance too. Yes, quite true, quite true.